Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where we are currently in a bit of a bind. Like, there's no doubt about it. I was hoping that we would be making more money from this land. Unfortunately, we're not making much from it at all. I mean, that's not a huge... Lose a stability for 20 Republican tradition? What exactly does Republican tradition give us? Where do we see our Republican tradition? Is that in... It should be in, like... I don't actually know. I don't usually play as a Republic. It should be in here somewhere. This is something that I should know for sure. I kind of expected it to be in the stability tab, but I don't... Oh, it's right here. I'm a moron. It takes the legitimacy spot. Right. Yeah, so additional Republican tradition would get us less unrest, which we don't really need. Reform progress growth, which is pretty good. Merchant Guild's loyalty equilibrium. Oh, right, we have estates now. That's a thing we should do something with. For sure. We're going to keep the Republic, and we're going to boost our stability back up to 0. Okay, so that's wonderful. We have dropped our corruption down to 40. We've still got a long, long ways to go here. We are going down by minus 0.36 per year, but we can't afford to keep doing that. So we're going to sit right around here. I expect our corruption to be growing doing that. Yeah. And that's mostly due to our unbalanced research, our religious unity, and our overextension. The overextension should go away soon. Ish. Another 2 years? Well, 2.5 years. Well, no, I can't math. A year and a half. Another year and a half on that one. Okay, sure. Hey, Korea. First off, I'm going to want to improve relations with you. We can't do royal marriages anymore because we're a republic, yes. And we're going to want to get some ducks from them. And when can we do that? In a while is the answer. In a while. So we're still allied with Heishi. We could potentially get ducks from them. They would only give us 5 ducks, though. That's not amazingly valuable. I think we'll just hold off on that for the moment. And we are positive in cash for the moment, but we also need to come into our estates here, and let's go into our clergy. Now, we don't really care too much about governing cap right now. Monthly power is really important. So I think that's going to be a good thing. We do have 64% crownland, so we've got plenty of crownland to work with. No problem there. We'll go ahead and grab religious state for the moment for the admin power. And I don't think we'll fill out another privilege just yet. There. So, for the Merchant Guild, we could get diplomatic power as well. Minus interest per annum, plus production efficiency, and yearly inflation reduction. It will give us 5% power costs. But honestly, I think that's worth it. We're going to give them control over monetary policy, and we're also going to give them land of commerce. Okay, so we're going to need to revoke some crownland. That will be pretty important. All estates will drop 20 loyalty if they drop below 30. So we need to allow them to go back towards equilibrium, which is currently 45. They're dropping right now. Okay. Will that update? Apparently not. Okay, good to know. So we'll add a privilege here, and we're going to grab primacy of the nobility. That will change their loyalty equilibrium. So we're going to need to give them some more loyalty equilibrium stuff here. So what do we want to give for that? I don't want to drop crownland if we can at all help it. Private trade fleets could work. That is a possibility. Tolerance of heretics and heathens might not be terrible either. We could give that. That'll drop our absolutism, for sure. But that will bring the equilibrium to 50.5%. That is good. This is currently 23%. Okay, yikes. They don't like the enforced interfaith dialogue. Fair enough. We could just give them oversight by the clergy. That's easy enough. So that'll boost them up to 33.6. We're going to need a little bit more loyalty here, of course, and we could do a religious culture, but that does cost crownland. Maybe just religious diplomats? Sure. That does also boost our national tax modifier, so that equilibrium is still pretty low. We're going to need to continue to bring that up. As far as the nobility goes, we can't go for primacy of the nobility because we already have it, but we can put in something along the lines of aristocratic counselors, and we're also a little concerned about the influence level here, but it should be okay. So we could do it like aristocratic counselors, or just right of council. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. So we can do that, and that puts this at 10% for the clergy. That's not bad. 44.8 for the nobility. So the nobility still need a little bit more here. We could give them a monopoly on livestock. Is this a one-time income, 11.24? I think so. I don't think that's a great idea. Clergy loyalty equilibrium plus 10%. They can pursue agendas at any time. I mean, pursuing an agenda is definitely something that we want to do. We'll go ahead and do so. And what do we want to go for? Base tax in the curls of at least 3? Honestly, we can do that. So we can just boost this up. There we go. That's already done. So no problem there. And they're all above 50% right now. So we can now go ahead and seize some crownland. Perfect. Okay, so what are these equilibriums? 44.8, 50.4, 39.4. Okay, so, I mean, it's going to require some additional work, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Usugi is making a claim. Okay, sure. That's absolutely fine. But getting this 10% tax, 15% trade, and 10% manpower recovery speed is going to be fairly convenient. Now, we could do a sale of titles. It's a possibility. That would drop us down to 30%. What is the level of malice? Having higher than 50% will see benefits. Holding less than 30%. Okay, so we want to continue to seize back land here in a bit, in 5 years, when we can do that. That's fine. We are making quite a bit more money now, all of a sudden. That's wonderful. We are going to toss that money into our colonies up to 1. Actually, we're going to take this to like 15 per year. So like here. There we go. And then we're going to hold half a ducat for ourselves. And we're going to otherwise root out corruption. Cool. We need to bring our corruption down because that is limiting our autonomy here. Cannot be lower than 19% due to half of our corruption. So that is definitely a problem. And we will work on bringing our corruption down. The unbalanced research is the biggest problem here. And it's going to be a long time before we can do anything about that. Now, that said, we do have Renaissance spreading pretty aggressively right now. And colonialism is also beginning to spread. That's really, really good. We need to get Renaissance as soon as we can. When does printing press spawn? 1550, so in like 6 years? Sure. But we'll get Renaissance as soon as possible, which is going to be a little bit. We'll have to let that continue to spread. Our institution spread is 10%, so it has increased pretty dramatically from swapping over to a republic. So that is good. So, we are improving relations once again with Korea. We're just trying to keep that up a little bit. And we are at 9.72 favors right now. Cool. We're getting 0.1 favors a month, which means we're going to be able to request gold from them very soon. The merchants want to get rid of a stability. I'm going to get rid of the government reform progress instead. That's actually less important to us right now. They're both important, but that's less important. Korea is now good to go on giving us ducks. We're going to get 91 ducks from that. Perfect. And do we want to build any buildings with that cash? The answer is no. Well, manufactories would be good, but manufactories are also incredibly expensive, and we can't get any of the ones that are actually good. Well, these ones would be good, but we can't really get them. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to put that money into colonial maintenance. And, oh wow, look at this. We're still positive. We're going to repay our loan, for sure. That's 105 gold. So that's basically the entire amount. And that allows us to root out a fair amount more corruption, like this. We can also see that our inflation is now going down. That is wonderful. Okay, a traveling minstrel. Ooh, just a free stability? Yes, please. That is, again, a very big deal. So that allows us to root out even more corruption. We're finally starting to see some turnaround here. I like it. We definitely dug ourselves into a pretty big hole. Oh, we've got these guys over here. Are we over our land force limit? We are not. Okay. These guys should be moved over here. I don't know about taking this route. I think what we're going to do is we're going to use these cogs. Okay. So that's wonderful. We are gaining half a ducat per month still. And our economy actually just got a whole lot stronger. Like, a whole lot stronger. Halacha is now cored, which is going to help our corruption even more. That's great. 100 population in Jugger? There's 610 right now. Or we could get a base tax there. In the long term, the base tax will be better. So we're going to get the base tax. We will have these guys go ahead and attach to the transport. And they're going to be dropped off over here. We got the heretics converted on over. That's wonderful. Now, you can see how long it's going to take these. I think we're not going to bother with those. This is going to be half a ducat per month. We're currently making enough. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get that converted. We're at 49% religious unity, so that has helped a lot. Cool. So we're slightly under half a ducat per month, but this is acceptable to me. Our colonial maintenance means that we are going to fill this out pretty soon. Our colonist isn't here. Oh yeah, I removed him, didn't I? I don't know why I did that, but we're going to send him back over there. There we go. That's not something that I should have done. But then again, I didn't know that our economy was going to rebound this way. Like, this is a pretty substantial rebound. And as our corruption comes down, it will continue to rebound quite a lot. We're actually going to sit here. 0.29 per year. That's not great, but it'll do. Excellent. Apparently I can't select these. There we go. So we'll group those together. The nobility are plotting, and we lose the stability. So that brings us back down to 0. We don't have to bump up because we got the free stability. So that's good. We're going to grab a new dip tech in about 2.5 years here. How are we doing on our institution embracement? Okay, it hasn't finished spreading in many of these territories just yet. Heishi is calling us into a defensive war against Korshin and Oirat. Sorry, Heishi. We're required to decline that. We can't fight Oirat. That's just not going to be a thing. Not without Korea in the mix, anyway. So that is going to be very important to keep Korea as an ally. Heishi, it doesn't really matter. So the merchants. They lose 20 loyalty and gain 10 influence. They could revolt and gain influence and loyalty. Or we pay 20 ducats and they gain influence and loyalty. Sorry, merchants. We're going to force you to lower your prices. Yes, you're going to be disloyal. Yes, you will recover. They will bump back up fairly quick over 30%. That will hurt us, for sure. But we can grab a new idea here. We are not going to do this. I'm going to right-click that because we need to grab Diptech 6. That is our top priority at this moment. Would we want to go into debt at all to embrace this institution? Maybe. I mean, every one of these that embraces it will make this quite a lot cheaper. It's spreading in a lot of locations. Colonialism can be accepted as well at this point. And that will continue to get cheaper too. Of course, we have to embrace Renaissance first. Gain 5 Republican tradition and lose 2 corruption? Yes, please. That is fantastic. Can we have this event more? That would be really, really nice. So we dropped down to 38 corruption there. Actually, 37.47. That is a big, big deal because that allows our autonomy to continue to drop. In fact, in our capital, it's 0, of course. But it's at 18.7 for a floor everywhere else. So that's fine. So we have a new election here. We can lose some Republican tradition here and keep our current guy. And actually, his stats would be much, much better. So we're going to do that. Cool. We gained admin power from that. I was hoping for dip power, but admin works. January of 1548 at this point. We are still negative in our cash, and that is because our merchant guilds are unhappy, although they're happy again now. Well, happy-ish. And they're going to bring up their happiness a little bit. We're still a little bit negative here, and I'm not sure what was the cause of that. But we are going to need to drop down our rooting out of corruption a little bit here. Around here. There we go. We're still going down by 0.2 per year, so that's good. And it's going to be 0.35 when we get our unbalanced research and our religious unity taken care of. So that's good. I mean, our religious unity is not going to be a huge deal. Well, it's not going to be that easy to take care of, actually. We should see about... Let's see, none of these actually give us missionary strength, right? This one does. We need stability 2 and admin tech 8, though, so that's not going to be a thing for a good long time. Our missionary strength means that we're going to have to stop converting probably after this one is done. Yeah, I think after this one is done, that'll be fine. Cool. So our economy is actually a lot stronger now. 746 settlers in Jugger, and we really, really want that to finish. Really badly. Importing iron, huh? 60 military power and Zhenzhou opinion. Zhenzhou opinion doesn't matter. We'll take the mercantilism. Thank you. So we can now actually grab our diptech. That came a little bit faster than expected, but probably because our corruption dropped. We will definitely go ahead and grab that. So that allows us to root out our corruption much faster. That's fantastic. We're still a ways away from getting our institution spread over here. In some of these locations, it's very close to filling out. In others, less so. And colonialism is starting to spread pretty thoroughly as well. That's actually almost as cheap now. At about 400 gold. Excellent. How much is a loan worth now? 106? Okay. Sounds good. We can root out a little bit more corruption. There we go. But we just need to get our economy on track at this point. So, at this point, we can build workshops, of course. None of these are amazing to build in. That's fine. We might want to start thinking about annexing Nanai soon. How much do they actually make there? A fair amount, actually. They want to become a march, but we're going to decline that, and I think we're going to start annexing them. In order to do that, of course, we'll need to improve relations with them, so we'll get to work on that. Jugger is up to 800 colonists now. This has been a very long process, that's for sure. Ooh, hang on. 10 inflation, or 2 inflation and 10 Republican tradition. Our inflation is going down by default. So I think the inflation is okay. We'll get rid of it eventually. And once again, our inflation is going down by default. We'll accept a little bit of inflation here. Yes, it will hurt our income slightly, but that's acceptable for the moment. This will continue to come down. It's not going down by a huge amount, but it is coming down. And we can always spend admin power to bring it down if we wanted to. But we absolutely do want to get Renaissance thought here so that we can continue working our way through the admin techs. This particular idea group isn't the best, but we may end up wanting to grab economic ideas just because our economy is fairly weak. And this will improve our economy dramatically. And then after we grab economic ideas, we could go to perhaps quantity, and then after that, expansion. Something along those lines. I mean, we're going to continue colonizing. There's no doubt about that. So that's fine. We are making 0.12 gold per month, and yeah, our economy is just all of a sudden a whole lot better now that we got our estates under control. So that is fine. We could put another Merchants Guild thing in here. I don't want to spend Crownland doing it. Ah, I mean, reducing our global tariffs is, I think, okay here. The settler chance and the global settler increase would be pretty good. So we're going to give them that. That puts their equilibrium at 53. For the clergy, what else would we potentially want to give them? Stability cost modifier isn't great. Native assimilation. Honestly, we'll give them that. That'll be fine. Their equilibrium is only 43%. Is some of that due to events? I mean, enforced interfaith dialogue, sure. Religious state apparently is negative to their loyalty, but okay, sure. So as far as the nobility goes, we could grab military advisor cost. It's not great. Supremacy over the council is not great either. I mean, nobility integration policy is 15% liberty desire, but that's probably acceptable. We'll go ahead and grab that. And then for their last one, and yes, they have high liberty desire right now. That's understood. We will deal with that. We could give them, like, nobility land rights, but I don't think that's going to be what we're going to target. What is their equilibrium? 48? Okay. Aristocratic counselors is probably what we'll go for. I'm not super happy about it, but it'll do. There we go. So that puts them at 53. So the only one that is low is clergy, and that's probably going to be due to, well, it's definitely due to enforced interfaith dialogue. We may want to remove that at some point. And that is going to be a doable thing. So that's fine. We're working on Nanai, and they are currently disloyal. No, I don't want to designate them a march. I want to check on their liberty desire. Okay. They have better dip tech than we do. That's a big part of it. And of course, nobility integration policy. Sure. That's fine. We'll be able to integrate them if we want to. We don't have to right now. But our economy is definitely looking up. There's no doubt about that. We're down to 36.48 corruption now. Our corruption has dropped by almost 4 this episode. That's like 10%. That's a huge, huge deal. I'm very pleased about that. Usugi was building a spy network. That's okay. I don't think they're actually going to do anything with it. And we can hop into our stability tab here. And actually, it's the religious tab that I wanted. I wanted to check to see when this is going to be done, and it's very soon. We'll go ahead and grab admin tech 7. There we go. So that gets us another group of ideas, and we are going to grab economic ideas. Absolutely. I definitely want to get this national tax modifier and yearly inflation reduction for sure. Khmer entered a golden era. Good for them. We can grab ourselves a reformation thing here. Prestige per development of missionary. Resistance to reformation. Okay, sure. It's not something we're going to do. No one wants to work. Well, we're going to lose 5 ducks, but that's okay. Not actually a big deal. We are gaining 0.07 ducats per month. It's not a lot, and our inflation is dropping very, very slowly. But most importantly, our corruption is dropping. That's a huge deal. We can continue to keep this guy, and we're going to. At some point, we're going to have to replace him. That's understood. We could grab Miltech 9. I actually don't want to. We are not going to be capped out on our military power for a good long time. And if we grab Miltech 9, we will be once again unbalanced research because of our diplomatic technology. So we're not going to do that for the moment. We finished our conversion here, and there's not a point, in my opinion, in continuing to convert. So instead, we are going to put that money into rooting out additional corruption, like so. Beautiful. So we're now rooting out 0.41 every year. And that's great. Our colony will also be finishing up extremely soon here. Within the next year for sure. Guaranteed. The nobility has their influence declining. Good for them. And we can, at this point, revoke enforced interfaith dialogue. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. It will drop their loyalty temporarily. That's understood. And I think that we will give them, instead of enforced interfaith dialogue, because that now puts our clergy nobility above 50, or loyalty rather, above 50, and that's what we want. Merchant Guild's equilibrium is 48, so we don't actually need much here. We can just give them private trade fleets. That'll be better. So now all of these are going to have equilibrium above 50. That's perfect. And of course, once they recover, we're going to be able to seize land. So that's going to be some revolting right now if we did that. We're going to avoid that for the moment. We're negative in our cash, and that is, of course, because not our nobility, our merchants are upset. They'll get over it. They will get over it. In fact, let's go ahead and summon a Idiot, and we could do a merchant guild. They want us to build a marketplace, trade depot, or stock exchange in tier. It would get us a base production. It would be expensive. But in the end, it would pay for itself. So the question then becomes, how will we go about getting that? Hey, Korea, you want to finance a stock exchange? We need 10 favors for it. We currently have 8, so it'll be a couple of months before we can do that. We owe Korea 82 favors, of course. So yeah, it'll be a number of months before Korea's willing to do such a thing. For the time being, we can drop out our rooting out of corruption down to about half a ducat per month, because we will need some additional funds beyond what Korea can give us. So that will be absolutely fine. The merchants are back to being happy. That's wonderful. And the nobles are plotting. Okay, so we immediately, well, Judger became self-sustaining. That's good. And we immediately drop instability. That's less good. We can make a state up here. How much will that cost us? Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. So we're going to need to core Judger. There we go. And that will drop in autonomy, but we're going to make a little bit of money there. So that's absolutely fine. For the time being, we're going to put that fund, those funds that we were putting into colonial maintenance, we're going to put that into rooting out of corruption. Like so. So we're now rooting out 0.49 per year. Excellent. Successful bureaucracy. Losing ducks for 50 admin power. I don't think we can afford that. I'm hoping that we get an event to increase our stability, but we'll see. At our current corruption levels, that's maybe not hugely likely. So we've got about a year right now until Korea is willing to give us some gold. That's good to know. It is also about time to put a cut in here, but I want to get this constructing before I do that, because I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to forget to build the structure here. So that's definitely something that I'm going to need to do first. So we'll go ahead and do that. But while we're waiting on that, I will say you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And let's... We'll try to ease the tension. There we go. Let's just wait a little bit here until we can get the money from Korea to get that structure built. It won't take very long. We're very close right now. We can enact a government reform, and we could go for yearly Republican tradition. Sounds really, really good right now. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll recall from Nanai, and they are still disloyal. Okay, well, we'll need to work on that. That's not a huge deal. Korea is almost ready to give us that money. So that's great. I like how Korea is basically our bank at this point. It's great. 9.85, 2 more month ticks. Any moment now. 1 more month tick. Okay, Korea. Give us that sweet, sweet money. Thank you. Okay, so what do we need to build here? I just want to double check. Our agenda is to build a marketplace, trade depot, or stock exchange. Okay, so if we were to pop out the buildings here, we can see we've got a temple here already. We would need a marketplace, trade depot, or stock exchange. We have to build the marketplace. There's no other option. So that will go on in there, and that will satisfy that. Excellent. And with that, I am going to go ahead and put that cut in here. And next episode, we will see about getting our Getting ourselves pretty thoroughly out of that economy hole. Like, this is going really, really well. Like, fantastically well all of a sudden. And it's all because of our estates. It's 100% estates. Thank you, estates. Good to have you here. I already did the outro, so I will just say I will see you all next time.